All right. Got roped in to doing some live stuff here for a few minutes. Take a little break from other work, from work to other work to other work to more work. So I'm taking a break, take a look at some charts, do some things, talk to some friends. There you go. What's up? Suryato, hello. Snow, hello. Yes, it's all your fault. Shankar, hello. Well, let's clear the air here. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta take a look at a couple mandatory things right off the bat. Wow, why does this chart look horrific? What is going on here? All right, this is a little bit better. All right, so G-Byte on the daily because it's mandatory, and this is what we're doing. So we came up, we had our big high, we came back down, dropped down, we found support on the 100. We had ourselves a little symmetrical triangle here, which is also a bear pennant, right? But all we've done is sideways trading, and we are really sticking to this historical support resistance line right here. This guy's sitting at 00943. I've been trading all over it. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So right now it's been support for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. You had a false breakout to the south side, came right back. 8. So like 8 days you're just sitting on here. Not doing much. You're creeping all over the 50 line on RSI on the daily chart. So, you know, you found support, you lost it, you came back up, retested, back for more support, lost it again, more resistance, back up. Now it's back to support. So, yeah, there's just not much happening here now. What we can see now, at least now that we got a little bit more data, is this right here. On the volume side of things, at least as far as the peaks are concerned, we're looking at downslope in volume. So less interest in sideways trading. Overall trading for this particular period, you are looking at a micro downtrend, if anything. So if you're showing exhaust with volume and it looks like nobody's really interested in this particular setup, typically if price is going down and volume goes down, you're looking for something, a break to the upside. I'd imagine still we're gonna be haunted by this next level, this 102 level. From 102, then we are looking to eventually attempt another breakout of the overall pattern. And that being said, you have this big spike, this big spike, this big spike. We'd be looking to get a spike up higher than the previous structure high. So, again, right now it's just sideways. We haven't seen this type of sideways on this particular pair. I mean, you could maybe call it here, but even then, it was, at least it was a little up, a little down. I mean, this is literally on the bar. I mean, it's literally on the bar. So that's something to keep in mind. You could almost range trade just this one little boxed out area, and every time it comes up to the high, you can short it back down to the bottom of this range and then long it back up to that level again. I don't know if you would want to do that, but you're looking at about a 9% range. I mean, there's something to be made there, that's for sure. All right, so let's see what we got here. Dash USD, Raven USD. Oops, where did you go? Oh, good now. All right, let's take a look. Dash USD, huh? All right, let's see what we got here. Dash USD. Oh, man, I'm never going to remember this, am I? Kraken? No. Were we charting Kraken? I don't think so. Probably not. Let's try Dash USD Polo. That sounds about right. No? Maybe not. All right. Let's try it again. You gotta, You got to remind me what what we actually looked at. There we go. All right, so I guess we're on Treks. A good old-fashioned Treks. Been around for the long haul, those guys. All right, so what are we looking at here? Daily chart, dash tether. Creeped up out of this pattern over here. Bit of a symmetrical, but it's more of an ascending than anything else. We do have our breakout. That's great. We got our breakout and we got our touchdown, right? So we retested. Retested is perfect. We like that. Currently lost support on the 8 and the 13 is just hanging in there for a little bit of support. So that's good. Complete breakout of range, right? We lost it here. Came back in, broke out of range again. Instead of coming down and retesting range, since we're good, now we're playing the pattern, so we retest the pattern. So pattern's good, retest right here on the touch. Push back up for a new structure high, and then right now we're just pulling back a little bit again to retest as a double bottom. So I'm cool with this. I'd imagine that the next target is going to be somewhere around that 382. We do have horizontal support resistance around the $100 zone. So between 100 and 102, we could be seeing some push up. Let's see, volume's pretty sporadic. It's not too much happening here. Let's see, kind of topped out, double top, almost a triple top on the RSI. We can get rid of this for now. So we are, in the grand scheme of things, we are making a higher lows with RSI. We're making higher lows with price. So there's no divergence there. Everything is cool. We're making a bit of a triple top on RSI and almost similar up here. Almost a triple top. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of just these two little candles for that style divergence. But overall, I think we're okay. We are still in a trend. You got your low, you got your low, you got your low. So you do have your three lows. You are creating an uptrend. You do need to get up over this level here as a structure level. 96 is what you need to beat. We are painting ourselves a larger symmetrical triangle, except all of this doesn't necessarily count. You got the one touch, and then you got the one touch down at the bottom, but there's too much of a price gap here for me to be okay with. Other pattern traders might be all right with that, but I would imagine probably not. This is sort of what you're looking at here. And we did get the breakout, and we did get a retest, so we're okay. We just didn't really push all that high over here. So you made a new high for the relative micro trend, but as far as the local area is concerned. But over here, for previous structures, you are going to need to beat this level. You need to get over 95, 96, close up above it. And if you're going to do that, you might as well test the 100 mark. Now, 100 is going to be a psychological level on top of it being this swing high. So it's something to consider for resistance when we do get up there, depending on what kind of volume push we have with it, whether we'll be able to break it and then push back down. Do have other areas of interest here, which is this pink line coming down. So the downward sloping pink line should also be resistance. It's a long-term trend line to the downside. Right above it is the 200. So again, another area of resistance to take a look at. So what we're looking for is a good push up, right? Expect some activity, some reaction in the 100, 102 zone. Another reaction for downward sloping trend, historical trend line coming down, and then another reaction at 200. So this could very easily be 3 or 4 moves to make our way up to, you know, the 115, 116 mark if trend is going to continue on our side. I don't like the volume. It's very sporadic. It's very weak. There are a couple good pushes in here, but overall it's not what I would like to see for a significant, confident uptrend. But it's an uptrend nonetheless, so we're okay with that. I want to see if I want to see this one move right here, because if we do have a good pull, then that could be something interesting to look at. All right, so let's see. If we push back down, let's see, what was our low here? Just about the 618. So we might be able to do something with this. Let's break out our good friend old XABCD and see what we got over here. 584. That's really not enough. That's too bad. And a full one. Yeah, oh well. Sorry. Nothing there. All right, so that's Dash USD. What else you got? Raven? Raven USD. All right. Raven USD. Let's get that thing rolling right there. Raven USD. That's Trex again. That's better. Okay. So Raven, Tether. All right, this is great. Yeah, this is great. So this was our initial range. That's our break. We pushed up, right? This was our buy box area. We hit right down the bottom of the buy box perfectly on the 618, 0.022, give or take. We pushed up from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 days, less than 2 weeks. We were able to score our top end over here. So we pushed up for that to 0.044. So that was a great trade. Overall, let's see, on the bottom of our buy box, you probably would have averaged in a little bit if you took the top and the bottom of the box. But overall, 94% trade. I think you should be pretty happy with that. That's a great trade right there. Now, what's it going to do next? Yeah, that's the question. So, Raven does have a level to look at in the 0.059 zone. So, do we have trend is continuing on our side? That's good. Let's scope this puppy out here. Yeah, RSI's curling a bit, but I wouldn't be overly concerned with that after that big move. Still probably healthy. We don't want to see this drop down before making another high over here. That's what we don't want to see. But be that as it may, if it does happen, that's something to look out for. RSI reaching, not reaching 89 would be a concern for me. But overall, it does kind of look like we're doing an ABCD over here. So this is nice. Break out the little ABCD pattern. Go 1, 2, 3. ABCD. Be a 0.4. So it'd be like in this ballpark over here. So if we were able to hit the 054 mark, we'd be in good shape. This move right here is nice. I'm just wondering if we're going to see a little bit of a pullback, but it's already dropped a little bit, not too much. I'm sort of thinking we continue up at least a little bit. This way, when we do have a drawdown or a pullback, we retest previous structure highs. So I'm cool with going to 59 from this point, which is also the 1618. So good confluence between our 1618 target and our historical right here, tip of the wick for our swing high that started the inevitable drop to our all-time low. So this one candle, that one wick, created this wick, which should give us our 1618 off of our initial pullback play. So this is good. I'm cool with this. Totally cool with this. Raven's been good to a lot of people. Raven's been good. All right. So APPC BTC. All right. Let's take a look. APPC BTC. Say that 5 times fast. APPC BTC. Oh, what the hell? APPC BTC. There we go. That's better. All right, so another range trader over here. Let's see what we got going on. Certainly been a minute since we looked at this chart. All right, so we had a big breakout early in range. This brought us up to this structure level up top here. Currently found resistance on. We ended up pushed down, retested, pushed back up to make a higher high. So this was the believer in trend. And then we failed and we lost it all. Back in range. This time we have support with our 100 and our 200. So this is good MA style trading. All right, so with that on our side, break out of range again. Another big push up, almost the same highs. Came back down for a solid retest. Found support on the 55. Pushed it back up. Now you got a higher high. First time you made a higher high, broke out of these highs through range. That's awesome. Came back down for a healthy pullback. Pushed right back up for another higher high. That's 3 higher highs in a row. So we do clearly have a trend at that point. Now we're sideways, right? So sideways, we lost the 8, we lost the 13, and we just lost the 21. Support on the 55 down below. You're trading below structure, right? This is previous structure high, previous structure high. You're trading below it, so that's a bad sign. So if you look at swing failures, you would be looking at something along these lines as far as a swing failure is concerned, and then you'd be taking like this bottom over here, and you would do this just for today, just to get a glimpse of what it is. If we actually trend this or throw a trend line on it, you'd be looking something similar to this, which would then show you a breakout. Let's say if we did that, and that looks a little bit more legit. Okay, something like that. So if we do this, we're looking at a breakout south side, which would show you that's your first indication that you're not coming back up for a higher high. What we can look at, volume is sloping down. Price is coming down, which generally means price should rebound back up. Let's take a look at RSI over here. Sloping down. We had 1, 2, 3 good plays up. This was the weaker of the 3 moves, although it did paint the highest over at 69. Since then, dropped down, and now we're trading below our previous structure right here. So this guy right here is a bit of an indication that things aren't super healthy for the bulls. All right, came back for a retest, pushed it down even further. So it's something to consider. I would not be confident in a long on this at the present moment. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't love it. I don't love it. We do have some support here. All right. So off of your body highs from the previous move. Little bit of support. Kind of had it over here. It's about the same zone, right? So this area right here is a good area to at least be mindful of. That's a good zone. This is a good spot. Came back down pretty sharp. Came up. That's where you found resistance. Pushed down even further. Resistance on that next move, trying to break out of it. Resistance on the move, found support on it, came back down, found support again, then lost it, came back up, resistance again, false breakout, lost it, came back up, big push up, where to come down to? Right down to that same line once again, push down below, where to find resistance, that same line twice, 2 days in a row, next day, pushed up, where you find support, right on that next line, big push, big drop, found support, support, shooting star, support, no, support. Okay, so this is very much like the G-Byte coin, or yeah, that we just looked at. You found support on this whole leg right here. So you lose that support, close below it, then we got problems. You maintain that support, and then I'm okay, and we continue further upside when it's ready. All right, so that's what we got right now. We sort of have to wait for this thing to do something, or at least some type of indication that it's ready to go. This right here would be pretty bullish, and that's your 100-day crossing up over the 200. So that could be, although it's a lagging indicator, that could be at least some type of indication that you do have movement in the future to the upside. All right, this right here is your golden cross, and that's, super bullish. Again, a lagging indicator, but right here, March 6th, you had your 55 cross over the 200, right? And that's what's considered the golden cross. So that's usually long-term bullish sentiment when you see the cross like that. All right, so that's good for APPC. It's one of my favorites now, Raven. Check Tron when you get a chance. What's up, Lucas? Tron when I get a chance. Well, how about now? How about right this very second? Tron BTC. Let's take what? Let's take a look. Right, good old fashioned Tron. Oof, dump fest. All right, here's what we got. We gotta move this guy because that's super important. All right, so on the daily chart for Tron, I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with this story. Huge push up, drop down, rounded bottom, push back up, couldn't make a higher high, drop down again for another lower high. So this created our trend. Trend came down all the way up to middle of December. Middle of December we pushed up, and it was a steady climb for a little while. Nice trend, nice trend, nice trend, nice trend. Convergence of all the MAs. We lost it right here. So losing the trend February 6th, that gives you a trend of about 2 months or so, give or take, month and a half, ballpark. From there, we dropped down, pushed back, retested trend, and we failed at that point. We lost our 55. We found support at the 382. We started to lose our 100 right here, found support at the 5, and now we've lost just about everything except for the 200. And we're looking to next hit the 618 as far as support's concerned. So you do have this little boxed out area over here. This is a good zone. This is a nice cluster zone here. So you definitely got some type of trading to consider. All right. So almost without thinking about it, you would expect this to at least push down to the 618. You've already lost the 382 and the 5. This thing's doing nothing but going down. So this ballpark right here would be where I would be looking at to least see a reaction. You do have the 200 right here, so that's something to consider. 200 on the daily should provide support. So you would hope that if it does come down, maybe check 618. By the time it gets there, possibly the 200 is up. And then you would have perfect convergence for a good area of support. Find support, and then you'd need something to get this thing back into an upswing. But can't say there's... Well, can't say I see anything at the present moment. Volume's weak, lower than average. Yeah, nothing major. Nothing is pointing out too crazy here. But it's at least trying to see if there's anything pattern wise, but there really isn't too much. If you're looking for like an ABCD, you would want to see a reaction and then push back up to somewhere around the 618 previous structure highs, but not yet. Not yet. To be honest with you, I think if you lost the 382 the way you did and you lost a 5, you've lost 100, the 55, the 8, the 13, the 21. I mean, the only guy left sitting over here is the 200. I'd imagine since you're already headed down, you might as well go test the 618 and find support at the 200. This would be your best option, I believe, to at least find some type of spring off of it. Now, this 236 zone over here, That's off our global level, right? So if we have our low from this bottom drop right here, right, back, top, so you'd be looking at 236 on the way back up. So a 236 retrace from all-time high. So that's good. You know, you like to find support on that. You see it pushed all the way up to the 5, right? And it got rejected. I don't know if you could see that. It's pretty light. But this is the 5. That's the ultimate retrace, right, from all-time high. So push back up. You got 50% back from all-time high. Since then, you lost it back down to the 236. So you're scoping around the 23% back from all-time high, which is similar in confluence to this current move, 618. So it's something to consider. Again, I would drop down, test 618, find support of the 200, and that's your best possibility, I think, for a further upside after you've taken those into consideration. All right, so yeah, Tron, BTC. Oh, BTC. Did I do BTC? I did. Excellent. All right, good for me. CVC, it's all green in PAS for a couple of days. Let's see, CVC, BTC on the price action scanner. Let's take a look. CVC, BTC. I'm on the RSI scanner. Let's check out the price action scanner. We got to let this load for 1 second. All right, so right now I'm on the 3-day. Let's see. Let's sort by alphabetical here. CVC, BTC. Okay, so strong uptrend 4612. Sideways, slightly bullish on all other levels. Shorter time frames, 5-minute up to the 1 hour, and the daily has not converted yet to a strong uptrend, but 3-day, we are in the 3-day. We are in the 3-day. So 3-day is giving us 18% move up, currently sitting just past the 50% marker. Volume at 1262, low cap coin at 28, but this is something to consider here. So let's take a look. CVC BTC. All right, so we have range trade down at the bottom. Good curl here. There's a nice rounded bottom, almost a bit of a double bottom here for the overall. Starting to get some history in here. 200-day has populated. It started back in the beginning of December, so that's good. Already coming in for a little bit of support. It's a little too new to call anything on that, but still nonetheless. Now, traditionally speaking, probably wouldn't call this a cup and handle, but it is something to look at, so let's look at it. If we were to do something like, well, I guess we would have to do this since we already caught it, no? That's kind of how that works. The spike ruins everything. It really does. All right, anyway, let's get rid of that. Broke out of range. That's good. Did we retest? No. So what we do is we double check our range because we want to make sure the range is right. So there's really 2 ranges here. If you see this line, this horizontal support resistance, that's kind of like your lower range. And then you have this clustered area right here and this clustered area right here. So it's not ideal. This whole section is range, but it's kind of more like this is sort of your first range. You come down, you make a sharp move, right? You come back up, support, 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 support. You lose it, you test it, you fail, you come back, test it, 2-time fail, drop down bottom side, good, came back up again, rejected all the way back down. There's your range trade. Push up 1, 2, 3, all rejected. Push up again, 1, 2, 3, all rejected. Drop back down, but now you're making a higher low. Okay, so that's good. Come back over here, rejection at the 200, drop back down again, still a higher low. Push back up, so now this is your breakout play, right? So this was your push up, this is your retest of this range. You pushed up, you found resistance at the 200, you broke it. All right, good for you. Now you smashed up with this monster wick over here. Came all the way back down. Sideways for a little bit down. You lost your 8. You found support on the 13. Now you got your 8 back, and now you're a little bit sideways, pushing back up again. Okay, so all that being said, let's find out what this move is here and see if it has any relevance to what we're looking at. So let's go to the bottom right here, this little guy, and let's push this up to the top. And let's see. Push up, way up, drop all the way back down, found support at the 709, push back up, rejected at the 618, double bottom support at the 709, push back up to the 5, support back at the 618, now you're trading in between. So, levels of concern or areas of interest, we're looking at this zone up here, this is that top level, right? So, swing high before the drop. That's something that you're going to want to at least be focused on. In the interim, you might as well add confluence with the 382 to that. So that would be an area you would be looking for some type of selling or some type of reaction if and when the coin does decide to trade up there. So that's certainly something to look at. As far as the downside is concerned, you know, clearly we failed to make a higher high on this move. But that being said, you are continuing to make higher lows. That's a trend that you can hang on to for a little while. So with your trend in place, something along that ballpark, you got plenty of room where you're still in trend, even if you were to come back down and test these levels. If you are coming back down to test anything, would like to test this level right here at the 786. So unfortunately you did make a huge move up. You dropped down to the 709. That does not mean you're out of the woods yet for the 786. Certainly is possible, but this is a nice push, right? So you got your little mini double bottom over here. That's a good push up, breaking previous highs just in the local micro trend, right? So this is actually pretty good. I'd like to see this come back up, get some type of reaction at the 382, push past it, and then I would imagine we're going to have some trouble over here with the historical horizontal. So we'll have to see how that goes for now. For now, I'd probably be comfortable in a long position. I would put my stop more than likely under the 786 because I don't think we're out of the woods of totally coming back to retest that. I think that's certainly possible. What indicator is that? What indicator is what? The MAs? Lucas, is that what you're asking? It's just an eight-time MA. Or EMA. It's up to you. You got your choice. You can use 8 MA or 8 EMAs. I use an 8, 13, 21, 55, 100, 200, 500. On this chart is all of those except the 500, right? You only have enough history on the daily chart to pull up just the 200 just started showing up. There's not a lot of history on this coin, right? So it just doesn't have the history to do it. All right, let's see here. 88 BTC, please, with exclamation points. Holy moly. All right. I don't know if you got to yell like that. 88 BTC. Let's just take a look. All right, so 88 BTC coming back down off the major drop. Range trading. This is another double range for me, right? So you have your majority range trading in this yellowish sort of range box. And then the larger orange one encompasses all of that range on top of the mini breakouts, little false breakouts here, because you had many of them all rejected at the same area. And then you have your actual bottom with your, this whole thing is just kind of like a breakout to the downside, but finding support, which is good. All right. That being said, look at that. Look at that. That's great. All right, so we said if you were a range trader or if you're just a more aggressive trader, you could have made this move right here. So from this bottom up to this candle, right, we were looking at a pullback down below right here. So that's excellent. Once we flipped that pull, we started getting our targets up top. So came back up, had another pullback, came back up, had another pullback, came back up again, had another pullback. Now, the interesting part about this is stopped out top of range, stopped out top of range, 2-day push up, 1-day close above, swing back down, support on range. So this is the buy zone, right? So support on range, you push back up. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 all found support at the 1618. Okay? Confluence body close at range. First range, inner range, whatever you want to call it. From there, big move up. It's only 3.5%, but still, it's a big move. Pushed up, another push up, broke secondary range. On top of that, closed up above it. Second candle closed up above it for confirmation. Third candle is trading above, finding support at the 2618. So, for me, I'm looking for a 3618 and 423. Let's see. I mean, it's a little late now, but if you were to hit the 423, you're looking at about 6%, which isn't great, but it's perfectly acceptable. Now, long-term targets are these puppers right here. Okay, so if we look at the whole enchilada, right, looking at a monster move down, found support for whatever reason over at this 1935 zone. Nice, healthy retrace, right? Push all the way back up. That's pretty good right here. That's your 382 level. Now you swung all the way back down. You made your bottom. So if you're using your bottom, your local bottom, or your current bottom, and your all-time high, and we're all the way down here, right at the top of that range, and I'm looking at a 236. So we're looking at 100%, 109%. All right. So as far as ADA is concerned on the long side, you know, again, barring any wackiness from the corn itself, we're looking okay. This area right here is nice because we broke previous structures, right? So that's good. This little, oh no, we didn't. Oof, we didn't. Nah, just shy of it. Just shy of it. The difference between this high and this high is now we have support with the 200. It's pretty important. All right, over here is resistance, resistance, resistance. Just putting downward pressure on it. Now you got upward pressure, pushing it, lifting it higher. Kind of a W bottom right here. A little bit of a double bottom slash a double U bottom, which is also nice to see. And, of course, we are painting our low, our higher low for trend continuation to happen. So, overall, this isn't too bad. A bit of an ABCD. Not quite, but let's see if there's any confluence here. 5-2, it's not enough. Nah, not really. I'm not really in the business of just making stuff up to make it work. So we got to play around too much, then it's probably not valid. All right, so next levels here, though, do need to pay attention to. We already hit, and that's this 1340 zone. That's right here, this guy. And then you're going to have to contend with this guy right here, 1359. All right, so 1366 and 1405 are the current areas. Let's see if we have... All right, so 823. All right, so look. All right, so check this out. For our targets, right? If we put our targets on, right, based off of just that first pullback, we're looking at a target zone, right? with our 2618. So we already hit the 1618. We hit the 2618. Just missed the 3618, but I would imagine that's coming next. 423. Then you have an 823 and a 1273. That 1273 is our historical 1935, which is your bottom area support zone from the initial drop. Okay? So that's the first or one of the targets from where we are right now. That's confluence right there. That's fantastic. All right. And then, again, like I said, you're pushing into that 2-3 zone. So I would do this right here. And I would say that this is an area of interest. And I would say that this is an area of interest. And I would say that this is an area of interest. All right. There you go. 88 BTC with 2 exclamation points for SR. What is ABCD? Is it part of Elliott Waves? If not, can you please explain? Is it part of Elliott Waves? No. And yes. So Elliott Wave theory is, how can I explain this? It is a deeply complex, yet simply put, way to analyze structure. Impulse waves, moves, just the way something reacts, right? So if we just take this for example, if you simply take a look at how this looks, an Elliott Wave trader would look at this move here and he would assign a certain number to impulse move to it, right? So if you were to push, like, this is your first level, that's your second level, right? Your third level is down here, then you have another level up, another level down, and then your last level is your high, right? So there's rules that go in with all of these, such as your 2 to 3 wave should be the longest of the 3. Your 4 cannot be below your 1. Your 5 should be the shortest of all the waves. I mean, there's way too many rules, and I don't know them all. So let me just be totally clear with you on that. I'm not an Elliott Wave trader. I learned enough about it to know that I didn't have time to properly learn it, so it's on the back burner, and one day when there's enough time I will learn it, if nothing else just to learn something. But if you notice, you'll see those staggered moves everywhere, right? So you got a big push down, a pull back up. So there's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or the other way around. Same thing on the way up, and then they have corrective waves where you got an A, B, C correction, and then further downside. So with ABCDs, that's not necessarily Elliott waves. ABCDs is simply saying that a move from, let's see here, let me find that again here. So your move from A to B should equal your move from C to D. Okay, so that's sort of telling you that if you had a move in a coin or an asset or whatever, and from A to B, right? So we just measured A to B, so A to B. So you're looking at 133% in that move. Your next move after your pullback, and this only is for an uptrend. For a downtrend, it's obviously ABCD to the downside. Your next move should be the same percentage, right? Not the percent. Let's see. I'm trying to explain it the right way. It should be identical in price from A to B. So it's not necessarily going to be the same percentage, but you know, if this was $1 to $2, So it was a $1 change. This should be a $1 change. All right, so then you would just take your level that you made from A to B, and then you measure it from C to D. So your D should be like right here. Easily put, your A, B, C, D should like match out to be, like basically a whole number, or at least in tune with. So you went from 133 to 73%, but price wise should have been identical. If we got out of log view, right, it should make a little bit more sense. So log view will, when you get out of logarithmic, you'll be able to see that everything's scaled out here. So if you were to just scale it from 1,000 to, or 11,000 to 12,000, then the next move should be from 12,000 to 13,000, provided that there was some type of pullback. So that's an ABCD. ABCDs are also the heart and soul of every cipher pattern, every ABCD pattern, or XABCD. So if you had a large impulse move up, you came down for like a 618 pullback, you pushed up to like an 886 ballpark, and then you came back down to like a 786 of X to A, which would be somewhere around here, give or take. This would give you a bullish Gartley pattern, and from a bullish Gartley pattern, you'd be looking at targets from A to D. Let me just throw the right template on here. Do that, Gartley. So you'd be looking at getting into this trade long. Where are you? Right here. You're buying at the D. You'd be pushing up to the 382. And then pushing up again to the 618. Now these are sort of like minimum targets. I think it's something like, don't quote me on it, but something like an 80% strike rate to get back to the 382 if this is performed correctly. And then within that, you should also be able to get the 618, depending on trend and overall reaction, confluence with historical support resistance, yada, 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 all that stuff. But inside of that is your ABCD, so ABCD, right? So it's the same concept built in. If you look at any ABCD or any, either like a Gartley or a bat or a cipher or a shark or a butterfly, right? They're all either going to be, some type of M or some type of W. Right? And so that's how you would recognize those if you're looking at a chart. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. Let me get rid of all of this junk over there. Perfect. All right, and we're back in business. So there you go. There's your quick lesson on ABCDs. Nice. All right. Thank you, sir. Oh, I forgot. Thank you. Yes, you're very welcome. All right, so let me pop open the scanner real quick. I just want to see what kind of movement we had today. What were the bigger moves? And we'll pull up one more chart, and then we'll call that. I got to get back to work. I took a quick break to hop on. I haven't been able to do the daily close in the last 3 days. It just wasn't around. Busy working. So I got convinced that I should come on for a couple minutes. So here I am. All right, so 1 day, last 24 hours, moving in 16%, pushed up from GXS. I actually just had that chart open. All right, so yeah, GXS BTC down to the 618 right now. So let's take a look. So yeah, that was the chart I had open when I started. So here we go. Broke out of range, got ourselves a fairly good rising wedge over here. This is exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about breakout plays, breakout of the pattern, push down, retest, push back up. So this was our original buy-in down here. That's based off of the larger. What was this based off of? This move down here. Was that move? No, couldn't have been. Man, I don't know what the hell that move was. I'm not sure. That's a great question. I got to go back and watch my own video. I'm thinking that this might have been a possible target off of this move. That would make the most sense. Having that big move push up here, coming back down. Yeah, that's got to be it. Coming back down and testing bottom of trend and previous structure highs and bottom of pattern. But that obviously did not happen. What we did get was a clear breakout of pattern with a retest of it. So that's exactly what we want. So with that, now we're looking at the next upside move. Now, if you see the targets, we've already hit everything based off of that first move, which was this guy right here. So with that move, we hit our 1618, our 2618, our 3618, and our 423. All targets have been hit. So that's actually pretty good. As far as trading breakout from range, this was a great move. So all the way up to the 423, that was a 72% trade if you took it from range to the 423. So overall, pretty good. I don't think anyone's complaining about that. So that's pretty sweet. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of this junk in here. I got hidden arrows. That's not good. All right. So if we continue with this test, I guess just to solidify that it is support, if that's the idea here. Now we need to know where we're going to go next. So let's take a look at this real quick. And let's see what we got. All right, so if we just played that one move, currently sitting trading on the 5 right now. The 618 would be low enough for a retest without encroaching in and causing too much havoc into the actual pattern. So if that's the case and we come down to the 618, that's great. If not, then it is what it is. We'll just have to keep it from there. So overall, not too bad. Now if we push this guy all the way down to our last actual low, so that we're actually looking at this whole move, I'll have to push this guy up here. All right, so from our bottom of the last move, right, the last pullback, to our current high, right now we just found rejection of the 236. Now your 382 is really good confluence if you were to come back down and retest just a little bit. What it did retest was the 5 right here, and the 5, and that was in the middle of the pattern. So at that point, let's say we're going to play this whole move here, and now we're looking at our 1618 above our head right here. All right, so if we are going to continue on the upside, then we'd be pushing for the 1618. Now, another thing to remember here is this. Okay, overall mega moves here, right? So I didn't count listing because I never do. But so all-time high to all-time low, not regarding this fat finger down here. Back to the 236, right? Just like we said on that last coin. Back to the 236 would be really good. And what do we got? We got 236, right? We hit it no problem. Not only that, not only did we hit the 236, came back down, found support, and pushed it back up, ended up buying it all at the 236. If this does come down past the 382, expect it to come down to the 236. All right, that being said, next stop on the large scale is the 382, confluence with the 2618. All right, so this ballpark here is looking pretty good. Okay, And then besides that, 618. Front run 618, front run 382, or push it right to 2618, which would be a front run at the 382. So I like this. I'm okay with this. Let me see the RSI. Yeah. All right, so I know we talked about this a few times here. Swing failures are never good, and we're currently in a swing failure. It's this right here. Okay, so the way a swing failure works on RSI, you come up, you breach the 70 line, you come back down, you come right back up again, you fail to make a higher high on RSI. Now you breach this 70 line again, right? And the aggressive traders are shorting right here. If this is something you can short, which I don't think you can. Okay, the conservative traders are taking this trade right here. You cross that previous low, and then it's time to go. That's your indication to get out of the trade. So if you haven't sold already, then that's where you sell. Now this can still do this, all right, and turn around, and it's just a smaller move, just like this, just a smaller move before coming up. But you cross over that 70 line, and it's all bets are off. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. As this thing trades, there's no saying whether this is going to stay in trend or not, but it certainly does have plenty of room. It's a solid trend. We are making our high, we're making our higher low, we're making our higher high, so it's okay right now. I'm not overly concerned with this. I'm good with this. I'm good. Like I said, my targets would be first and foremost 33.47 and then 37.63. Like ballpark 37.30, 37.63, somewhere within that range would be good. You get the 382, you get the 2618, and if we do push down even further, I say we have support at 28.16. All right, so that's GXS. GXS. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like I think my YouTube froze. I'm not really sure. It could be okay. All right, so let's see. That good? I think that's good, right? I think we're good. We're good. Write good in the chat, or don't write good in the chat. That's fine too. Cause I'm good. Cause I gotta go. All right. So thank you, everybody. All right, Wobby. All right, we'll do Wobby and then we'll roll out. Wobby, BTC. All right, Wobby doing some sideways action here. Okay, so on the larger scale, pushed out of range. It's nice, good. Started a new trend. Bought the pullback within range, came back down, bought the retest of range, so that's good. Now we have this. So just like we talked about on the RSI, talk about swing failures. This is a swing failure as well, right? So you have your low, you got your high, you got a higher low, and then you got your higher high, but then you got a lower low. So this right here is your first indication that there's a problem. So you do that. Attach your lows, right? And then when you push back up and you find that price reverses back down, well, this is your fail to make a higher high. So what happens? You draw those lines, you got yourself a symmetrical triangle, and now you got a pattern to play off of. If it drops lower than your lows connected, right, that's a short. If it pushes higher than your highs that are connected, right, regardless of whether it's higher than your structure high, then you go long. So right now we would be long in Wobby. Push past, broke out, past the pattern. From the pattern, we got this, dual lightsaber Darth Maul candle right here. Mega spinning top. And now we just have a little bit of a doji being printed right here. So nothing too crazy. Overall, we were looking for a pullback on this one. Should have been 618. It ended up coming down to the 709. Pushed right back up. Support 618, 618, 618, 618, 618. Support on the 5. Pushed it up to the 236. Came all the way down. Look at that candle. All the way right back down to the 709 again. Pushed all the way up past the 0 line. Failed to make another higher high. So, I mean, you could do this if you wanted to. And it would be something like that. Like that. That. Okay. And then again, you would start that all over again. Now you drop down past this line and you're looking to go short. You push up against this line and you're starting to go north with it, right? But that's almost, at that point, you're almost just trading like within a range or within a pattern. So this is okay for now. Maintaining support on the 618 is good. You really do need to make a higher high over here. Now the longer, let's see what this guy is over here. All right, so the red trend is a flip trend, right? So this was support flipped to resistance. Now it must have moved because it's no longer correct, which is super weird. But that's what it should be. So you had support, right? And right here you flipped it, resistance, 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 right? So confluence on both sides. And that is what knocked you out. Look at that. Look at that. And they say TA doesn't work. So right here, you got knocked out right at that same trend line. So strong trend, found rejection, 4 times now. So kind of a big deal, especially with this big giant candle here, breaking range for the first time and not panning out. So that's a big deal. So you need to break past that for starters. And then you could shoot for a structure high. Another high past this structure high, past the 65, 67 zone. So for now, we do have rising volume, prices sideways, further upside expected, plenty of resistance coming up. And what are we doing over here? Higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. Overall, it's fine. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to take, longer than anybody wants to be in the trade, but it is what it is. It does sort of look like it still has more upside to it. We have plenty of support from trend. We also have plenty of resistance coming up, so we just have to be mindful of that and manage the trade like any other trade. Manage it well. You know what I'm saying? All right, very good. All right, that is going to wrap it up for me for now. No promises on tomorrow night or tomorrow's daily candle. If I had to guess, I would imagine I'm going to miss it again. But I do certainly always shoot for Saturday and Sunday candles. At least in Central Standard Time in America, all right? So for me, that's 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. now. Tomorrow, Saturday the 22nd. So I'll be looking for that. Hopefully Saturday works out. If not, hopefully Sunday works, where at least I could do the weekly candle close at the same time, all right? So until then, manage your trades carefully. I want to see you guys on the exchanges, and happy trading.